A very warm welcome to the new episode of Incan Insights. This is your host Sumit Sarma Samir. This is a Nepal-based podcast, and if you are interested listening to the thought leaders and Nepali influences from around the world, please subscribe to my channel. I'm extremely pleased to welcome Tim Gurung in my program today. Tim Gurung was born in 1962 in a Gurung village called Dhampus in Nepal. He joined the British Gurkhas at the young age of 17, as his grandfathers and uncles did before him. He served for 13 years and retired in 1993 as an army corporal, after which he became a businessman and worked in China for the next 20 years. Before his 50th birthday, Tim became a full-time writer and has since written 15 novels. He currently lives in Hong Kong with his family. Tim, it's a pleasure to have you in my show. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. It's my pleasure. Yeah.
Can you please tell us about your journey into writing and what inspired you to become an author?
Yeah, actually, as I said, you can see on my books, that was 15 years ago in 2015, when I realized that I've been working since 17. So I've been working for a whole life. And suddenly at 50, I suddenly realized that, it's already been a very long time. So let's do something more, more meaningful, or especially that can make me happy. So what should I do then? Then it's been a long time. So I thought about many things, but at the same time, I realized that, I used to write when I was young. So that was a long time ago. Before I joined the army, I used to write in Nepali some song, some poem like that. So why not restart it? But yeah, then I started writing, but my Nepali was not very good. So I have to start. Only way I had was write in English, but also, of course, my English was not very good. So it's been a long time, but I, I I I I started writing anyway. So it was like it's a journey, you're going through a thick jungle where you know nothing about it. So it was trials and error. So it's been 10 years since I've been writing now. So I also
Yeah.
achieved, I think, quite more than what I imagined. So yeah, I started. I think the main reason I started was I was just tired of working. So
Right,
I
right.
needed something more interesting or meaningful that can make me happy, because end of the day, life is about being happy. So yeah,
Absolutely.
that was the main reason. Yeah.
Absolutely. And your books, cover a wide range of genre from fiction to non-fiction. And how do you approach writing across different genres?
Normally at the beginning, I started with novels,
Yeah.
mostly literary fiction, because I always wanted to. Since I had a very, I started very from a very humble beginning. So I have seen the world from very low and very high, and the middle. Then I also work very hard. I also work with many people. I work in China. China was just opening at the time. I also work with many people from various country. So for the business, I also got an opportunity to visit those country as a businessman. So I have seen the world by my own eyes. Also, at the meantime, I also face a lot of discrepancy. Those stereotype, people are biased, racist, and there are also a lot of ugly people, rude people who will just. Uh, I also had to go through all of these. So I wanted to express some of my feelings, especially those social and racial, also the global issues through my writings. So I started because of that. I my book I used to write about this, but yeah, after a while, then suddenly I have to write this non-fiction books because there was a lot of pressure from many of my friends, and they say, "Oh, you are a Gorkha, then why don't you write about the Gorkha?" It's a very famous thing, it's a very popular thing. Then
Mm.
for that, because of that, I started writing a non-fiction. Yeah.
Non-fiction as well.
Mm,
Right,
mm.
right. Can you talk us through your work after life, which I found it very interesting because you had talked about, I mean, though it's a fiction, what life could be after the death. So, what inspired you to write this book?
No, at the beginning, actually, I always strive to be a novelist rather than.
Right,
But although most of my famous book now are my popular books now are non-fiction.
right,
But I started as a novelist, and I was just learning. So writing was, writing what I say is writing is, of course, you must have a talent and a little bit of a talent gift to write. So if you call yourself a writer, it shouldn't be a problem for you to write anything. But
mm,
other than that, the rest should come through your experience, through your things. But about this afterlife, I used to at the beginning. It's a very old novel, which uh, I think it's very influenced because of our upbringing back in Nepal, when we still believe in those afterlife.
mm.
So what do you like karma? What do you do? You'll you'll have it back as your good karma or bad karma, things like that. So there was I also very curious about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that, maybe at that time, maybe I should write something about it. So that's why that was the main reason, two reason why I've written this book. Yeah.
Right. Right. So, and your non-fiction works often delve into historical and social issues. How do you research and choose your topics on your non-fiction work?
I think for the non-fiction, because the writing between, as a writer, first of all, you must be able to write both fiction and non-fiction,
Hmm.
because non-fiction, the writing, because they are different type of writings. Because it's two different type of writing. Because non-fiction, you write what exactly is there. You have to tell. So your writing become very tight. But for we also need a fiction, because fiction is there's no restraint for you. You just write whatever you feel. So your talent or imagination, you can grow as you like. Because there won't have any problem with it. So as a writer, I suggest you should try both fiction and non-fiction. Non-fiction, how it come was, by then I have already written many books. Fiction. So at the beginning, my first non-fiction was the Gorkha book, which has become really big. It's going to be, I think, it was published by 5 different publishers around the world. So this is one
Mm.
of the biggest, most successful of my career. But how it happened is, first, I am a Gorkha myself. Then born and brought up in a Gorkha family, a Gorkha
Mm.
village, and a Laude culture, and at the same time, because I came from the same community, I know it by heart. At the same
Yeah.
time, all of my friends, who used to tell me, why don't you just write about the Gorkhas? This is your thing, because you should write about this. One is your responsibility, other is you know the best. Another thing
Mm.
I want to tell about the new writer is, one of the key secret of successful as a writer is, you must always write what you know the best. that's
Mm.
the
Mm.
that's the only thing, and also if it comes from the heart, it makes a lot of a big difference. So,
Right.
but since I have also served in the British Army, I had a I don't know what to say. So, like I had kind of hesitation doing this thing, because
Right.
I never, to be honest, I never liked to be allowed to be allowed. So it was my destiny that it was my karma, whatever. I become
Yeah.
allowed because it was my my country, my community was like that. That's why I become a Lauri. But I never liked to be a Lauri. So because I wasn't ready to write that. But then when everybody tell me, you have to write this, then suddenly I started thinking about it. Then as I wrote on the book at the beginning, it was a dilemma. I went through a dilemma that before writing this book, that it was one was a responsibility, another was because until now all the Gurkhas it was like it's a one-sided. Everything all the Gurkha books were written by either a British officer or the Indian
Mm.
scholar or Indian officer. So
Yeah.
never ever before a Gurkha by itself themselves wrote a book on the Gurkhas.
Mm.
So I become actually it was quite a pressure. So at the end, I decided to go with it, but at the same time, I also decided to give my best to all
Right.
those researches as much as possible and come up with the pure, the very truth and honest view. Then I think, and I think end of the day, uh, it came out very well. Beyond my expectations. The book was successful. It's beyond my expectation. To be honest, actually this even changed the very definition of the Gurkhas. Because
Mm.
before the book Aya Gurkhali came, Gurkhas were always known for only bravery.
Yeah.
We are brave, world beater, like that. We are world famous. Everybody knows about the Gurkhas. Then I will tell you one thing that it's not the case.
Right. And as an independent author, prior to getting your book published from some of the publishing industry, you were an independent author. What challenges you faced in the publishing industry, and how have you overcome them?
I think it's a lot of thing there. A lot of we have a lot of barriers, a lot of let's say glass ceilings. Because one thing I learned is in order to be successful, not only a writer but also to be successful in life, you must learn how to take a side.
Hmm.
That's very important. If you
Hmm.
don't take a side, you're alone. People like me, I am on the neutral guy. I don't take the right, I don't left, right or left. I'm always in the middle. So it was quite difficult for me at the beginning. Also, there is also a glass ceiling. Like they also have a group. They also have a circle, like for say Western circle. You have the white people in eastern side. You have Indian circle. You have Chinese circle. Yeah, everybody has their own circle of group. So a guy like me from nowhere, that's why I always like to call myself neither from west no, nor from east, because I live in Hong Kong. It's a
Right.
Chinese community. Here I don't have anyone. So it was quite difficult or extremely difficult at the beginning. But
Hmm.
if you work really hard and you give your heart into it, and
Hmm.
you go through the right channel, and you know the way how it works, it will happen. You will eventually get the success. That was also the case for me at the beginning. Yeah, of course, I had got a lot of rejection, a lot of problems. So, but at the end, yeah, I made it. So I was published by the number one publisher in the world, not even one but twice in Southeast Asia and in India. So, but at the end of the day, I think first you have to your writing has to be, of course, very good, world class.
True.
Second, you
True.
have to be patient, and third, you have to be determined. You have to work very hard, and also you must know the channel. You must
Hmm.
know how to do the things. If you don't know the channels how to do things, then of course it's almost impossible. Let me tell you one thing. And according to the poll, they say that only one or two books in every 100 books that actually publish through the proper channel. So you know
Mm.
how difficult it is. But of course,
Yeah,
we also need to have a connection. But at the beginning, of course, it's very hard to have connections.
sure.
So it's a big thing. It's a huge thing for me, even for me. It's a huge thing. But of course, many people don't realize it. But um,
Yeah.
I will tell you one thing. I think a writer in an international level from the Nepali origin. How many are there? You can count in a single hand. So
Sure.
you can imagine how it's really hard. It's not easy. So
Mm.
it was even harder for me because my location, I live in Hong Kong.
Mhm. Mhm.
So it was really hard. But I think yeah, I work hard. So yeah, I made it. So as a writer, whatever I wanted to do, I've done everything. So I'm happy. So
Right, right,
done
right,
that, done this. So I'm happy. No problem.
right.
Yeah.
Right. And the ups and downs of the city of Hong Kong, where you have lived for such a long period of time, is captured in your book also, which is titled as "Old Man Don't Cry." Right.
Mm.
So, what's your take on the way the society of Hong Kong itself has evolved over a period of time?
No, as I said, this is one of my previous book. I always write on social and global issues. So as a Hong Kong, since I live here, so I'm also there's one thing I want to tell. I always feel responsible as a writer or as a citizen, whatever you do in life. And if you see live in a society, the society give you food, give you water, give you life, give you a family, whatever. You also have. It's not always taking. You also must give
Mm.
something. So it has always been my principle in life. So I know the book is already it's a previous book is not in the market anymore. But
Mm.
that time, what I feel is since I have all my adult life, I live in Hong Kong. It was my responsibility to give back to Hong Kong. So I wrote about this book. It was also that time how we also also wanted to clear my heart at the same time.
Mm.
It was kind of become a catharsis of my own pain and suffering, whatever I had in life. I want to stress that out, if take that out in that book. So that's why the book is very sad book. So also it's about Hong Kong society, how whatever the Chinese tradition.
Yeah.
So that was the combination of the main thing of the book. So
Mm.
it's a long time, but yeah, I also had to clear my heart. So I also
Yeah.
clear my own pain through that book. So that was the reason I did that book. Yeah.
Right. No, I can imagine with the title itself, which says that the old man don't cry, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, can you share some of your experiences? That you have traveled, you have lived in Nepal, and then you have been in the British Army, and then into the Hong Kong. So you have lived in different landscapes, right? So how do you sort of bring in your experiences when you write the book as an author? How do you see these different societies that you have lived in over a period of time? Does that make any impact on the writing?
Yeah, of course, of course. End of the day, to be honest, writing is about your own experience.
Hmm.
You express through different ways. You create a character, and so when you write a fiction, you can fix. The good thing about fiction is you can tell your reality through fiction, and you don't have to admit it. So
Yeah.
but the, but to be a good writer. First thing is you must be confident. Also,
Hmm.
these things come from experience, also knowledge. So that's why you have to read a lot of books. You have to read a lot of books. So, so
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
I think is if you don't read a book, your writing will be very straightforward, one-sided. Then
Mm.
it's easier for me because I born in Nepal. I My childhood was in Nepal, spent in Nepal. Then I became a army, and British Army, how hard and how difficult it is. Then I live in China. That time China was just opening up. I saw the miracle of China from a very basic to the world beater from my own eyes. And I also
Mm.
visited many countries as a businessman. So I had opportunity to talk with many people, from west, from east, from south, from north, Japanese, Korean, Middle East. The even I had customer from South Africa, America. America, but my main customer in Europe, I used to go every. So when I went to then I saw all these things. So I got to compare them, from
Mm.
both the West and where East, how things happen, why this is happening. So then after then I started reading many books. Then it become very clear. Then for me, then I think because of this, I saw the place by myself. I have deal with these people. Also read books and see their views, their opinion, their thinking. So it
Yeah.
was then when I mix all them together, it become very easier for me to compare both of them, and to make my own conclusion, who is the right
Yeah.
and what is the wrong. So it is. I think it's experience is very important, because of also my age, also my work, and I have seen. I've been to many places, so it's it become a lot easier for me to write. That's why my books are, mostly about. You'll see from not only one sided, from both sides. So it's a
Yeah.
lot easier, yeah, as a writer. But as a writer, if you don't read and you don't have the experience, because many writer reading the book alone is also not enough, because many writers just
Mm.
read the book and make up their mind from the computer screen. That's also not good. You have to be on the field also. That's why whenever I do a non-fiction book, I always go to that place to feel the vibe and to see the people, they talk with them and see how the life of them,
Yeah.
their lives as well. So it makes me a lot easier to combine all together and write all these things. That's the difference. As a writer, for me, I just don't write from my own imagination. Also write from, and that's why I visit all those places also. I think that's the
Okay.
next big difference.
Right. So, are you working on a new book right now? What can your readers look forward to the next?
Exactly the same thing. I wanted, like I said before, I always feel responsible for my people. So as a Nepali, of course, I had a big responsibility about my people. So I decided to write three books about our people and country. So the
Mm.
Aya Gorkhali, the first one was for the Gorkha community. The second one I wrote, the Gorkha Grief, which is about the Indian Gorkhas, and it's not only about the army but also the civilian. We have seen,
Okay.
which is my second book, already there. I visit to east and west of India, and meet all these a lot of Nepalese community there. So also stay 3-4 months in Kathmandu and talk
Yeah.
with all the people there to feel how the thing. Then there is, because of these two books, is more about, one is telling about the history, the second is more about making questions, raising questions. So why is happening this? Why this? It sounds like a rant, but also this is actually my love for my people. So I feel, because I want my people to be happy, proud, and also self-reliant. So I don't want to. I don't feel happy when I see my people working as a somebody's uh, staff, or let's say in a bad way, hali hai na, I mean hali bhन्छ.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
feel horrible about this. Self respect is the most important. If you don't
Mm.
have self respect, I don't think there is anything you have. So I want
Right.
to give my people some self respect. That was my main idea, my main reason. So that's why my third book, because the first two book is just talking and raising question, telling what is happening. So third book will be because of course your raising question is very easy, right? Everybody can raise a question, but you also
Right.
must find a solutions. So
Mm.
so the third book I'm going to give a solution. So which probably will take 1 or 2 years. It's already written, already done. So we are only working with publisher and things. But this book is quite daring and very. It might be also controversial. So because
Mhm.
some people who take side might not find it very, very acceptable, palatable. So
Right.
it's also a very strong book. So my third book will be a book about the solution. How can Nepal become a proud, happy,
Mm.
and most importantly, self-reliant country?
Yeah.
Also, in 25 years,
Right.
also my third book will show this one. It will take 1 or 2 years to come out. So let's hope for that. It's already done, but I'm already working on the. I already because. I think after these three book, my responsibility to my people, to my country is done, will be done. So I move
Right.
up already. So already now I'm working on my next book, which is will be about East and West, the global issue, East and West
Mhm.
global issue, which is much bigger than
Yeah.
what I've been doing. So even I tell you one thing, I have to read at least 100 book before I write the first word of the. So this year I'm only reading all the books. So that's what I'm doing here.
Right. Right. And you know, what roles do you think that literature can play in shaping society and addressing social issues?
To be honest, the intellectual, is writers, poems, poets, and those musician artists. All this thing actually is the soul of the country. So you can have all the materialistic luxury, success, everything, right? But if your intellectual community is not mature, not developed, you are like a body without without a soul. It's just
True.
so you will just have a external. So you become a what to say. You just enjoy the thing that you get from your taste, all your this materialistic things. You just enjoy the sensual things,
Hmm.
but your soul will be empty. So in order to be a great country, your this society must be very pure. That's why I believe. But if you
True.
if you if you do take side, and you are sold like a sellout, you sold your soul for the money or something,
Hmm.
then there is nothing much I have to say. But of course, I'm also old enough to realize that everybody has a price here, and everybody will be sold out at the end. But my message is my only concern is don't sell yourself cheap.
Hmm.
Everybody is sold. Everybody has a price. Me, you, everybody. The big guy. Everybody has a price. Everybody is sold out at the end. But don't be don't sell yourself very cheap. At least get
Right.
something in return. Then I think then if you as a intellectual, if you don't care and write about your country and make your keep your country's soul cleaner, then there is no point being a writer or big and intellectual. So That's what I'm trying to do. That's why I'm neutral. I never support West. I never support East. I don't care about. I'm not a communist, a democracy. All these things. They have their own good and bad thing. So yeah, you just have to think as from both sides, not only one side. So
Right.
good thing about me is I'm I'm as a neutral, so I don't have to worry about anything or anybody. And also as a writer, I have one principle: if I always tell the truth, I never have to remember anything. So it's
That's
very,
easy, isn't
yeah.
it? Yeah. I wish you success in your next writing. Tim Dai, it was wonderful talking with you. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you very much. You're also my pleasure. Yeah. Thank you very much for talking. Yeah.